next to me is Mr. Scarrick Main, Mr. Brody Leaf Exmoor.
You're always dropping shade at the beginning of these episodes. Why? Maybe, well, sometimes maybe it drives a scarab, but we'll talk about it later. For now, I'm letting you guys know we got a sick show coming up. We're going to cover the CRL playoffs in Grid Watch. We got sick plays in Hotshots as usual, and some memes in Breakout.
Before we get started, Epic has partnered with the NFL for themed content. We've seen this done before for Fortnite and Rocket League, both with the Major League Baseball as well as the NBA. So I'm just wondering, do you have a preference? Would you rather more esports focused content and themes, or how do you?
Well, I'm an esports guy, so like, of course I want more esports content. You got to understand what I think Psyonix is doing here is they want to poise these games as franchises that you grow up with and will be there for years and years to come. So they need to reach out to those audiences that don't necessarily watch esports or play video games and build that franchise and branding out there. In the future, I would like more esports content, but I understand why they do this.
Now that we're all wrapped up, let's take a look at the CRL highlights in Grid Watch.
The Eastern and Western conferences of Collegiate Rocket League have come to an explosive conclusion, and the results just may surprise you. Let's take a look at the outcomes and upsets from the latest season. Look to the West and you'll see quite the unexpected result. Newly crowned conference champion University of Missouri. While many expected University of North Texas, who had been on a tear in the weeks leading up to the playoffs, achieving top seed and the highest score differential to take the top spot, Mizzou were the unexpected underdogs.
But Oregon, they need a goal now, and they need to find it quickly.
Oh, what a doink by Chalks to redirect this one in!
Where did this come from? Crims with that insane pass, and you called it, Stacks. Chalks with the redirect.
Not even a loss to LSU in the upper bracket quarterfinals could halt their momentum, and they blazed through lower bracket to face UNT in the grand finals. While it was a close back-and-forth match, Mizzou eventually triumphed 4-2 after staving off UNT's early advantage. This marks the fledgling team's first major victory, a huge improvement over their 8th place finish in fall 2019's Western Finals.
Chalks up again, the ball nowhere near a North Texas player. Do they have it?
Oh my goodness.
Crims trying to kill it. D-Bank desperately gets back to it. Got the catch, but does he have anything in the tank? Chalks wants to kill this ball, but it's back against the corner. Nitrovity misses the ball, and the Tigers finally do it.
Meanwhile, in the East, an even greater upset took place. Akron, the team who have dominated practically every CRL major for the past 2 years, were finally dethroned in spectacular fashion by Northwood University. Despite achieving top seed in the group stage, Akron's playoffs run had a shaky start. A narrow 4-3 victory against Nova revealed cracks in the juggernaut team's peerless play, nearly spelling an early end to Akron's uncontested run.
Well, there was reticence. It's Pirates taking over. Trying to set up Knox's. Knox's is there, and he goes behind Tristan.
And there we go, Northwood. Off of this touch from Pirates, look at the setup. That flick. And Knox's, the dodge there to get behind the ball.
This set the stage for a crushing 0-4 loss against Northwood in the finals, bringing the Titanic team to their knees for the first time in ages. Northwood themselves put in an incredibly impressive performance this season, their 14-1 record topped only by Akron's 15-0, with their sole loss coming from Akron as well, making their ultimate triumph all the more satisfying.
I mean, you gotta take your shots and nothing's happening. Finally, Reticence got one netward, down to 7. Tristan's off the mark. That should do it as Reticence just throws one at the backboard. Frustration personified for the Akron Zips.
All 4 of these finalist teams will be moving on to the national finals in early January, while another 4 will be qualifying via the CRL wildcard taking place in a few weeks. Judging by the conference finals, it's truly anyone's game.
Akron didn't win in the East?
Nope.
They went undefeated in the whole season?
Yep.
And then they were swept in the final?
Yep.
How could this happen?
I don't know. No, I really honestly, it can come down to the day. Maybe they were just getting by the rest of the bracket and then they get to this point where someone actually challenges them. Honestly, if one player just has, is out of energy, they didn't sleep enough the night before, they were blasting through on that second win and then die out in the end, it can happen. The whole team can fall apart. So Rocket League really does come down to the day and even just that moment. So it happens.
Apparently the Western Conference had some games
Apparently.
too. Oregon and North Texas entered with near identical records, but Missouri actually took it all. So does that surprise you?
Not entirely. Again, like you're going to start seeing CRL teams and the skill level start to really level out a bit more in the coming years, just because players are getting inspired by players like Tristan in the RLCS that are going from CRL to the RLCS, and they're actually choosing their schools now based off their CRL team if they're good or not. So you'll see that playing field level out.
We have to move on so we don't stall the show.
Okay.
But as always, Brody went one-on-one with another Rocket League gearhead.
He's probably the most energetic person you've ever heard on a mic, bringing you the hype in the RLCS. Welcome, RLCS caster and my friend Jorby. Thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Leaf. It's great to be around. There's some pretty energetic people around. I don't know if I'm the most energetic.
You're definitely making a case for it though, and it's amazing. I always love listening to you, and I know a lot of people out there other people do too. But let's talk, man. Like, it's not often we get to sit down for a long segment because our desk segments are pretty quick on the RLCS. So let's start talking some RLCS Season X. I just want to get your thoughts, just as a caster and a fan of Rocket League, on this new season, man. You know, we're partway into the winter split now. We're getting close to halfway through the entire season. How you feeling with all these changes and all this Rocket League?
It feels pretty awesome, honestly. This change brought pretty much everything that at least I was hoping would come. We'd see a lot of these players and teams that have been at the bubble for so long, struggling to get into a system that was very closed and a lot harder to break into. Now, you know, having a lot more success in an open format, and like the Swiss format for the fall split was amazing because we've never gotten that much data on teams before like roster changes happen. Like, we get 7 games or 7 matches and that was it. But then we got what, like 300 or 400 in one region for just for the entire split alone. So it's pretty awesome to see, and the winter split is so far proving at least in one region to be expected, and the other one maybe not so much. But I think that's the really fun part about the new season is the openness of it, and we are seeing so much talent that never would have seen the light of day had we not brought upon RLCSX.
And for anyone out there that is newer to Rocket League and still confused, we have 3 splits during the season. It'll be year long. We have the fall split, winter split, and then of course the spring split later on coming up in 2021. But we've done the fall split, and Jorby was just mentioning that many games just in one split alone. So there's so much Rocket League out there, and that's just like the RLCS. Like, we have so many other things going on, like the grid, CRL. There's been so many other collegiate things too. Looking at the grid and the changes that have been made as well too, how do you feel the grid has, from your perspective, because you've been casting some matches there too, for you, how's it been, and how do you feel like the players are taking in the grid and the perspective of that tournament that runs alongside the RLCS?
I think it depends what team you're on. I think that there are some teams that take the grid much more seriously than other teams do. Other teams just use it as like, you know, go through our progressions. Let's, you know, let's not
Paid
go
scrims.
super. Yeah, exactly. Like, glorified scrims is what how some teams feel about grid, but that's still useful as a player, and also for people like us as commentators, because it gives us more in-depth look on the types of players that these guys are. We get to look at them so much more often. And when I was doing Envy's grid streams during the fall split, I felt like I could talk about Envy so much more than I ever could before, even if, you know, the grid wasn't it wasn't, you know, a regional. It doesn't really matter. The point is like the trends for what a player likes to do, what kind of decisions they like to make, how they act in certain situations. When you get to follow one team throughout an entire bracket, you start to notice those things a lot quicker. And then when it goes to the regional and you have to talk about that team, like, there's just so much to talk about with a single player. It's like, well, he doesn't like to do, you know, he doesn't like to get aggressive when they're behind, or he doesn't like to play more passively when the other team is also playing passive, or like they haven't won a lot of challenges in a row or something like that. Like, you get a peek into their mentality, if you will.
I feel like it overall makes us as a RLCS crew stronger too, because we're each following different teams, and we can each bring perspectives then from these different teams, like you were just mentioning. Like, now I've noticed this guy because I've been watching him every week intently. And I've noticed this guy. I wonder how they're going to clash now. For you, though, I mean, like, there's so much data. I know you love the data. You mentioned it before, too. Do you ever get, like, overwhelmed with how much information you have now and trying to pick out which is the important thing to say and which one to say because you don't have much time to say it?
Well, I mean, the way I like to approach it, instead of just looking at all the stats, is starting with a hypothesis. Like, I start with a feeling I have about a player. Like,
okay,
I can say, like, I feel like Mist is the only guy scoring on Envy, or like I feel Envy always play NRG really close, and then I can look at the matchup between Envy and NRG, see that they've played 11 times. When NRG win the first game, they tend to sweep Envy, and when Envy win the first game, it tends to be a little bit of a fight. So like, and those things are something that we've never had before. But I don't think like it's like, I don't go into the stats page hunting for stories. Rather, I already have a story in mind, and I'm going to the stats to back that story up. And if the stats tell me something else, then I change my hypothesis. Maybe I just drop that story altogether, or it evolves into something else.
Jorby, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Leaf.
Read, somehow we managed to understand the ball was going to drop down perfectly and get that correct touch. Stall out more time and continues forward. J-Russ, you can't ask for any more as a teammate. He's got the defensive stops and also the offensive 1v1.
Here comes Alpha Cap.
Oh, he
faked out typical and exit takedown Space Station in game 2.
Alpha Cap. He was put in such a difficult situation. The one-on-one, he jumps 1 little second.
Gyro has AJ in the middle. Will go for the play himself. The air dribble off the wall. AJ will clean it up. But look at that effort.
It was stuck to the top of his car as he just slowly brings it across the net. Great work by Gyro.
The Sonics, well, they're starting to struggle. Adam, stealing pass to himself, flip reset. The shot by Adam was a death blow to this Sonics defense. What a shot.
And I've been waiting to see him pop off. Look at the second touch into the flip reset.
That was a big moment there as well, relieving pressure now. T. Carell, the delayed shot, gets the dunk. We saw him get a big stop earlier. This time, he just dunks it right in.
And he's so smart. When T. Carell goes up, he always has 2 plans.
Yeah, no matter how badly he did last time, he's made it up for it this time around.
Oh!
Breaker! First goal! Buzzer beater will do it to him. And move on to face Space Station. Now it's going to be a breakaway opportunity. Stealth, he's managed to beat Alpha.
No way.
Double tap! And it's in! Stealth gets the brace, and it is a phenomenal goal to get there.
Oh, that is disgusting. Stealth with the best double of the day. 2-1.
Illusion down to Splashy. Splashy gets dunked on by Illusion. Is it a good bounce? Yes, it is. Illusion off the backboard. What a series.
Oh my gosh, he's off the ceiling. He came off the ceiling with the boost. What a bounce there.
Hoxer, though, will respawn. Pass over to J-Pow. J-Pow back to Hoxer. And J-Pow is having the time of his life on the field.
Exeter are playing fantastic Rocket League. What a pass from J-Pow.
Can we just show highlights from season 1 of the RLCS from now on so I don't feel as bad about myself?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't expect you to say yes. Thank you. For now, though, we got Breakout. We're going to start off with submission from RL Mashup, who has a topper submission that he would like in the game, and I would also like to second that motion. look at this. All my teammates
I
need
love it. I want it.
You want it.
Put it on my cart. I don't have
Well,
an
I
issue.
guess, yeah, you're new, right? You probably will. All the new players are great. It's all like little league
Put it on
players
there.
just driving the ball. They need this topper, 100%.
Next up, we love our extra modes, but maybe not as much as Reddit user Natzer Music. That must have been so frustrating to play against.
Oh yeah, well both, honestly this is impressive on both sides. First off, he did that with, look, no boost the entire time. I was impressed by the shots though, like legitimately those guys were taking like 6 to 7 shots on net and they kept getting stopped. Oh yeah, I would be frustrated too. Like one after one, they don't go in.
He just kept going.
He doesn't stop, he's still going to this day, I've been told. But it is time to move to Rocket League Court, because it is in session and Aleutian is on the line. It's time to review his case with this provided evidence.
Do you think Kaz and Sharp beat Gyro and Agent in 2v2? That's asking a lot. From
Oh, this
Kaz
might be
and
in.
Sharp. Oh, it's
Aleutian! What a backstab! Top 10 Rocket League betrayal before our very eyes.
Wow.
On behalf of the president of Rocket League, Mr. Gibbs, I speak out and condemn Illusion guilty. Unacceptable. Well, at least in my eyes. A lot of people were debating that maybe it was good that he did it because now we're all talking about it and that's a really good storyline. So like, maybe it's good, but no, don't ever do it again.
Finally, it's Louis E. decided to find out what would happen if he made a 20 versus 20 Rumble bot match. How does anyone even touch the ball?
Yeah, well, the point is you don't. First off, like, remember what I mentioned? Like, what new players look like when they're that's what it looks like. They
Yeah,
look like
that's fair.
bots, just driving straight at the ball.
Just going
The
for
best
it.
part, though, I do appreciate that he didn't rumble, because everything just explodes at once. That was beautiful. Work of art.
Let's move on from all this chaos and let's take a look at Squishy Muffin's career in Double Tap.
One of the amazing things about the new age of online gaming is watching players go from beginner to pro in real time. No one becomes a legend overnight, but sometimes it's easy to overlook the amount of practice and time it takes for tomorrow's champions to cultivate their skills and slowly make a name for themselves. One such player is Squishy Muffins, whose journey from Rocket League scrub to God of the Grid is a story that unfolded before our very eyes. It all began with YouTube. Squishy posted his first Rocket League video to YouTube mere weeks after the game was released. In these early days, Squishy mostly posted clips of free play and basic mechanics practice, his poor internet connection preventing him from taking the game online. As his channel started to grow, he began posting more and more impressive feats, including prophetic montages featuring future teammates Justin and Torment. In late 2016, Squishy decided it was time to test his proficiency at the game on a grander stage, and teamed up with Lichinio and Torment to form Team Iris. The trio performed spectacularly at various ESL weeklies and other smaller events, but Squishy was hungry for more. The following year, he and Torment teamed up with Iris sub Gimmick to form the Muffin Men, a new independent squad eager to carve out a name for themselves.
That's actually going to be pinched right back up to the other side.
You're kidding.
I think if you looked up Feels Badman in the dictionary, you would get that exact play right here.
I mean, Torment and Squishy. Squishy, for once, in the right place at the right time, comes with a crazy save, goes right at Torment, goes all the way down the pitch. What can you do?
I think that is going to be the nail in the coffin for the Hammers. Even though they have 49 seconds left in this match, 3-goal deficit and the quality of goal that just happened there. Nobody's got, and another one.
It didn't take long either. Their victory at DreamHack Atlanta immediately caught the attention of Cloud9, who acquired the entire roster in July, less than 3 months after its formation. Under this new banner, Squishy & Co. dominated the RLCS Season 4 North American Finals, securing them a spot in the World Championship.
Leftmere comes in, puts the pressure on. It's all or nothing for Ghost right now. Send the house, no reason to hold back. As Leftmere looks to find Zane Jackie. They don't find it. Oh, and it goes past Classics. This will burn so much time off the clock as he's got to try and get this one up. Misses on the wall, and that will do it. Leftmere could possibly carry it, but there's no way he's got enough boost to get it all the way down the field right now, and Torment will put it into the ground. Cloud9 are the North American Regional Champions.
While C9 ended up finishing third after getting knocked out by Method in the lower finals, Squishy still found a way to leave his mark on the championship. In an incredible display, he landed the first successful ceiling shot in RLCS history, stunning even the opposing team.
Just fell short. I hope the pressure's not building up too much on him.
Now in the final minute, this was the scoreline in game 3. Cloud9 unable to take it to Squishy now with a ceiling shot. He puts it through. He's been going for this stuff all season, and he pulls it off here in the most clutch moments.
The player to invent the shot himself is able to get the delayed front flip and just destroy Method on defense. Even they have to be impressed.
A disappointing fourth place finish in the Season 5 finals inspired Squishy to push even harder, and it paid off. The former Muffin Men clinched the Season 6 championship for Cloud9, which would end up being the org's only RLCS win prior to their Rocket League team disbanding in 2020.
They are about to do the unthinkable. They've done it! Cloud9 dethrones the kings of Rocket League. The title comes back to North America carpet. What a series!
Since Season 1, North America has not held the title. You see disbelief on both sides.
After C9's demise, Squishy was picked by NRG, the Season 8 champs who have already put in an impressive showing in the latest season, winning the second Fall North American Regional in a landslide victory over Envy. No one knows what the future might hold for Squishy, but much like a ball soaring into a net, his trajectory is promising.
So it seemed early on as if Squishy was the gold standard in mechanics for Rocket League. With how the league's expanded and all the new pros on the scene, is that still the case?
I wouldn't say it necessarily, like he's still really good. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the case of him being the gold standard. Like players like Astral have probably taken themselves to like another level. Squishy though was like, I still want to talk about Squishy. Like he was so cool, seeing him do like the ceiling shots, popularize the inside out saves. He's still up there as one of the best, but you definitely have a few more players popularizing some of those new mechanics, that's for sure.
I always do this to you at the end, but that's all the time we have for today. Check out more of our content on YouTube and of course Twitter at WatchRLC.
And thank you guys for watching. Here's your weekly Backfire to send you out.
Bum ba bim bum ba bim bim bum bum ba bim bum bum ba bim bum ba bim bim bum bum ba bim